Where do we begin? Where do we begin? Where do we begin? Begin with the heart. Where do we begin? Where do we begin? Where do we begin? Begin with the heart. Where do we begin? Where do we begin? Where do we begin? Begin with the heart.
Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Fellowship of Nanaimo. Our mission is to create spiritual connection and bring compassion, discovery, and social justice to life. My name is Catherine Hazel, and I'm your service leader this morning. My pronouns are she, her. Could you please take a moment now to silence or turn off your cell phones? Thank you. Let's say hello to everyone attending on Zoom. Turn around and wave your hand to the frog, and those on Zoom can wave to each other. Whatever your hopes, dreams, and aspirations, whatever your race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, whatever makes you who you are warmly welcomed here. We have a diversity of voices on Sunday mornings, so our services vary from week to week. They usually run from 60 to 75 minutes. If this is your first time with us, a very special welcome to you. If you're joining us online, please consider sharing your contact information with us. You can do this by going to the chat icon at the bottom of your screen and typing it in there. We'd love to welcome you to the community. We have a wonderful website, ufon.ca, that's UFON.ca, and invite you to check it out for more detailed information about who we are, the services we offer, and how you can connect with us. It's now time for our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge today that we meet on the traditional territory of the Snuneymuxw First Nation. As Unitarians, we are committed to the work of reconciliation required to address the harm done to all Indigenous peoples and their cultures by non-Indigenous peoples. We have much to learn from the Indigenous perspective that the earth is the source of all life and that our responsibility is to honor and care for it. There are no announcements today, much to my surprise. But to find out about all the special events, groups, and meetings taking place in the fellowship, either go to the calendar on the website or read the weekly update email, which is sent to you on Fridays. Let us now enter into sacred time. Leah Hokinson, our musical director, will lead us into worship through music.
Think how it would be if you were more like me. All that you would see if you were more like me. All the things you'd know, the place that you could go, if only you were more like me. Think what you could do if you were more like me. Well, here's a little clue. If you were more like me, you'd know right from wrong and can see you're working hard and looking at your stuff. Well, just keep trying, sweetheart. I'll let you know when it's enough. You would have more friends if you were more like me. Be liked by other men if you were more like me. You would be more fun and more pleasing to everyone if only you were more like me. And you'd be more fulfilled if you were more like me. More creative and more skilled if you were more like me. A career that really works with all the benefits and perks if only you were more like me. I see you're really changing and growing year to year, and yet for some strange reason you are boring me to tears. You'd be more direct if you were more like me, and you might get more respect if you were more like me. You'd have a thicker skin and all you need to win if only you were more like me. Oh, and you would be more kind if you were more like me. You'd have more peace of mind if you were more like me. Well, you'd be more aware and more sensitive, I swear, if only you were more like me. But wait, now my darling, you're not looking so good. Well, could it be you're not hearing me? I feel so misunderstood. So just think what you could do if you were more like me. Well, you'd be a better
Go
you
on the full screen.
Yeah,
if you were more
it
like
also
me.
means some of my menus are not the menus.
Think
to
how
go
you
with.
could feel
So I have
more
audio.
authentic and more real.
My
Well, you
audio.
could be in touch. Stop demanding quite so much, and we could communicate, and the sex would be so great. Well, you would be more wise, Eckhart Tolle in disguise, and you would be more evolved. All your problems would be solved. So just get over yourself, and you can be more like me.
I hardly feel like I need to continue. I think we can just go straight to coffee hour. Thank you,
So,
Leah. That is an
Mute
original
my
composition
audio.
of
Okay,
hers
I don't
that
want it.
I've,
Okay, it seems to be the audio.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Debbie Goodman. I'm a local storyteller and a member of this congregation. And this morning, Leah and I are presenting a program entitled Both Sides Now, A Holiday Story. As you might have guessed from the prelude, it's a little bit cheeky, and it's based on a true story about all the elements of the holiday season: generosity, best intentions, confusion, misunderstanding, retail shopping, strong emotions, and a Unitarian congregation. Today's program brings us to the place where truth, love, and challenge all come together. And so I'd like to share these opening words from fellow Unitarian Universalist Barbara Cheatham. It's entitled, On a Winter Morning. It is a good morning to be together. When winter's darkness spreads across the land and cold seeps through our thickest coats, we hurry here, drawn by the warmth of faces familiar and new, to the welcome walls of this house. Here, for this hour, we open ourselves to new understanding, reassurance, and hope. For this is a place where truth, love, and challenge meet. Welcome. It is a good morning to be together.
And now it's time for the chalice lighting. We light this chalice here in the darkness of winter as we wait. This space is one filled with prayers to be answered, love to be given and received, miracles to be witnessed. May this light guide us until the light of the sun returns. And we're now going to mark the occasion of Advent. It's the third Sunday. This is the season of Advent, a celebration of spiritual light. When so much asks for our attention, the lighting of one candle after another reminds us that this season must pass in its own time. Birth cannot be rushed. We have the choice to be awakened and fully inhabit the present moment. The light of Advent grows brighter and brighter as we celebrate our coming together as a community. This morning, we relight candles of hope and peace. The third candle we light as a symbol of joy, not just any simple cheer, but the experience of joy that cannot be contained. Advent asks us to proclaim our gladness as a gift to the world, even when sorrow and uncertainty abound. May we share our hearts through our words, our music, and the way we live our lives. Let the fullness of our joy lead to more freedom.
And I think it's time for our first community song.
And I invite you to rise in body or in spirit, and we'll sing together hymn number 131, Love Will Guide Us.
This is the time in our service when we do a story for all ages. And there are no illustrations today, just words, as this is an old Zen
Okay, I
parable.
still don't have any sound.
There was once an old Zen farmer. Every day, the farmer used his horse to help work his fields and keep his farm healthy. But one day, the horse ran away. All the villagers came by and said, "We're so sorry to hear this. This is such a bad thing." But the farmer responded, "Bad thing, good thing, it depends." The villagers were confused, but decided to ignore him. A few weeks went by, and then one afternoon, while the farmer was working outside, he looked up and saw his horse running toward him. But the horse was not alone. The horse was returning to him with a whole herd of horses. So now the farmer had 10 horses to help him work his fields. All the villagers came by to congratulate the farmer and said, "Wow, this is such a good thing." But the farmer responded, "Good thing, bad thing, it depends." A few weeks later, the farmer's son came over to visit and help his father work on the farm. While trying to tame one of the horses, the farmer's son fell and broke his leg. The villagers came by to commiserate and said, "How awful, it is such a bad thing." Just as he did the first time and the second time, the farmer responded, "Bad thing, good thing, it depends." A month later, the farmer's son was still recovering. He wasn't able to walk or do any manual labor to help his father around the farm. A regiment of the army came marching through town, conscripting every able-bodied young man to join them. When the regiment came to the farmer's house and saw the young boy's broken leg, they marched past and left him where he lay. Of course, all the villagers came by and said, "Amazing, this is such a good thing. You're so fortunate." And you know the farmer's response by now, "Bad thing, good thing, it depends." The end.
We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life, we hold you in our hearts as you go. Nous vous enterrons d'amour maintenant et toujours, que vent que soit un paille toujours. Cultivons notre ciel jour après jour, nous vous enterrons d'amour pour toujours.
As a spiritual community, it is our intention to be authentically present to one another, especially in these difficult times. One way we do this is by taking time in the service to listen to the significant personal milestones in our lives. If you've had such a milestone and wish to share it, now is the time to do so. We'll begin with those of you in the hall, and then we'll invite those attending via Zoom. And I would ask that you give your name and your pronouns.
Nobody today.
Okay. As I place this final pebble in the water bowl, for the joys and concerns that have been left unspoken, I ask that you hold in your heart everything that you have heard and felt.
We share in love, we listen in love, we hold one another in love. Each joy and concern together in love.
I'd like to invite you all into a time of meditation and shared silence. So I invite you to take a deep breath, get comfortable in your seats, close your eyes if you wish. You don't have to. We'll have a minute of shared silence after I finish reading a passage, and then after our time of silence, Leah will bring us out of silence with music. This is called Meditation on Winter Celebrations. We are in the midst of the season of celebration, celebrations of the birth of new hope, of the festival of lights, of the triumph of freedom. The darkness of the year will soon lift, and the time of light will grow longer. We have gathered with an anticipation of hope for peace on earth and in our homes. We have gathered in this season of celebrations, seeking comfort to soften the pain and the losses our lives have suffered in the fast retreating year. We have gathered to worship joyfully within this season of celebrations with the tenderness and love of family and friends around us. Let us be embraced by the strength and power of this sacred space that we each bring as we create this beloved community. Let joy and sorrow join in the fullness of our living. Let the power and strength we embody join us together as we move through the seasons of celebration into a new year with a vision of hope for peace on earth. Let us be silent together. Both sides now, a reflection in 4 parts. Part 1, order, rationality, and principle. Once upon a time, somewhere around the year 2000, in the kingdom of far, far away, possibly a medium-sized city in the United States where Bob and I used to reside, there was a well-established Unitarian Universalist congregation. This congregation was very blessed and deeply rooted. Its chapel was originally dedicated in 1927, and its building was a local landmark built in the style of Unitarian Universalist churches of New England. The local newspaper described it this way: "The Orthodox colonial revival style bespeaks order, rationality, and principle. First Unitarian presents a primer image of a church, the church of our collective cultural imagination, the church of American mythology. It is a postcard from New England to the middle of the Intermountain West." They just don't write that way on social media, do they? It's so grand. We were not simply orderly, rational, and principled on the outside, Those characteristics were bone deep. With hundreds of members, we had a highly qualified full-time staff, including a Harvard Divinity School trained minister who guided us for 3 decades. We had a second ordained minister to run all aspects of our religious education program for children, youth, and adults. We even offered Building Your Own Theology, an 8-week course co-led by those 2 ministers and in the company of fellow congregants on Wednesday evenings. Bob and I both attended. Our congregation believed in the individual search for truth and meaning regarding all matters in life. We embraced tolerance, except maybe about one thing: Walmart. In this way, I suspect we were like many Unitarian Universalist congregations in North America then and now. Now, this Walmart thing wasn't written down anywhere. It wasn't in the principles or the sources. It was something you would sort of stumble upon if you ventured into dangerous waters. You might be especially vulnerable if you were a newcomer. Let's say you were sitting with a group of folks at the Goods and Services auction dinner or one of the monthly circle suppers. Somebody might say something like, "Sheesh, I can't believe how much I paid for dog kibble last week." And somebody like me might respond, "Gosh, I know what you mean. It's ridiculous. That's why I always wait for it to go on sale at Walmart." And then a hush might fall over that table of people, and a very awkward pause might occur. Someone at the table might say something like, "No, that's where I draw the line. I never shop at Walmart." And others might nod. And if you were the Walmart shopper, you would know you were on the wrong side of that line. You might feel judged. You might feel labeled. You might be confused. You might be amused. Regardless of your personal reaction, you would now have encountered the unspoken institutional culture of that blessed, orderly, rational, and principled congregation. And this is not to condemn that congregation. Every group and institution that exists, every family, every team, every social club is characterized by a set of unspoken rules that shape values, beliefs, habits, patterns of thinking, behaviors, and styles of communication. We all encounter this in our lives, but I'd especially like us to reflect this morning on how this exists in our Unitarian congregations, including this one. I ask that we reflect on this with love and affection and humility as well. I'm as guilty as anybody. I'm also coming out of the closet today as a happy Walmart shopper. But back in that medium-sized city in the United States, I kept it to myself. It was my secret. A secret I kept because I wanted to fit in and avoid conflict. The problem with self-censoring around your friends is that they don't get to know the true you. The real me enjoys being a frugal shopper. She enjoys it a lot. It so happens in that medium-sized city at that time, Sam's Club, Costco, and Walmart were all located very close together. And after the 9 a.m. Sunday service and the 10 a.m. church coffee hour, the next thing Bob and I would do is continue on to those 3 stores. We would stock up on gigantic bags of pet food and huge containers of laundry detergent at ecstatically low prices. We would purchase our socks and underwear in great bundles. We would stock the clearance racks for bargains, and we would return home satiated. The spirit is fed in many ways. Part 2, good thing or bad thing? We will return to the story momentarily, following a brief examination of an important question: is it ethical to shop at Walmart? In search of an answer, I asked Google, which directed me to the Markula Center for Applied Ethics at Santa Clara University in California. As a Center for Applied Ethics, Markula researches topics like artificial intelligence, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, gun ownership, and many others, and publishes balanced information on those subjects. Back in 2004, around the time this morning's story took place, they issued a piece entitled, "Is it ethical to shop at Walmart?" Two learned people researched the facts and presented pro and con arguments. Both arguments were articulate and persuasive. After reading the piece several times, I concluded, in the words of the Zen master from our story for all ages, good thing, bad thing, it depends. The Markula Center article quoted an excerpt from writer Jerry Useem in Fortune magazine that sums it up nicely. And the only background you need, it may not be well known in Canada that Sam Walton, who founded Walmart, founded it in Arkansas. So I give you that background. And here's the quote from Fortune magazine. "There is an evil company in Arkansas, some say. It's a discount store, a very, very big discount store, and it will do just about anything to get bigger. You've seen the headlines: illegal immigrants mopping its floors, workers locked inside overnight, a big gender discrimination lawsuit, wages low enough to make other companies' workers go on strike. And we know what it does to weaker suppliers and competitors. Crushing the dream of the independent proprietor, an ideal as American as Thomas Jefferson, it is the enemy of all that's good and right in our nation." There is another big discount store in Arkansas, yet this one couldn't be more different from the first. Founded by a folksy entrepreneur whose notions of thrift, industry, and the square deal were pure Ben Franklin, this company is not a tyrant, but a servant, passing along the gains of its brilliant distribution system to consumers. Its far-sighted managers have done nothing less than democratize the American dream. Its low prices are spurring productivity and helping win the fight against inflation. It is America's most admired company. The weirdest part is, both these companies are named Walmart Stores Incorporated. Part 3, social justice outreach. Back to our story. Like all Unitarian Universalist congregations in medium-sized cities, we worked for social justice in our community. Our minister and our social justice committee supported these efforts and projects, including assistance to the immigrant and refugee community in our medium-sized city. Some of our members were volunteer tutors at an underserved elementary school in another part of the city, where they learned about the challenges refugees face in settlement. Soon, the congregation partnered with the International Rescue Committee, or IRC, to collect winter clothing for newly arriving families. Then the congregation responded to the refugees' need for furniture for their new homes. Volunteers coordinated trucks, trailers, and helping hands to collect and distribute tables, chairs, beds, and dressers to refugee families. It was difficult and time-consuming work, and many retired congregants gave generously of their time, their love, their pickup trucks, and their back muscles to help international newcomers. As a small part of this program, each December, we distributed gift certificates for a frozen turkey to immigrant families as a holiday gift. This was a culturally normal holiday gift to all of us, something so commonplace we didn't give it any thought. Most of us received gift certificates for holiday turkeys from our employers, and they were redeemable at a large, well-established grocery chain in our city known as Smith's. In the northwestern states, you may know of their parent company at the time, Fred Meyer. One year in the fall, a delegation of our refugees, most of them from African countries, asked if they could speak with representatives of our congregation, including our minister. They had a request for the upcoming holiday season. It went something like this, with some embellishment from my imagination. We appreciate your annual Christmas gift to us, but we do not know what to do with these very large, extremely unusual frozen birds. We do not have such birds in our country. We do not eat such things in our culture. Our freezers and refrigerators are not large enough to hold these creatures. We do not know how to cook and prepare these large birds, and we do not want to know. Wow, this was hard to hear, but it made sense. It was logical and understandable. Our gift was well-intentioned, but not culturally sensitive. Our bad. And being orderly, rational, and principled people, our representatives offered to buy gift certificates for Smith's in the same amount, but with no restrictions. They could be used for any merchandise. We might imagine now a long and awkward pause, during which the refugees conferred in lower voices among themselves in their native language. Those who spoke English would have explained what was being offered. Then there would have been discussion until the group reached a consensus on how their English speakers should respond to the Unitarians. The message went something like this: "Thank you. That is a very nice offer. However, our people do not shop at your Smith's. Our people do not have cars, and we rely on the bus for transportation. There are no Smith stores on the bus lines. There is another store we like. It is on the bus line, it is close to where we live, and it carries several aisles of the foods we eat in our home countries. The store employs many of us. It also has a very good price on diapers for our babies." Well, of course, our representatives agreed. That's great. We'll get you gift certificates for the store you like. What store is that? Walmart, came the answer. We would very much appreciate gift certificates for Walmart. Oy vey. What to do now? We had arrived at that place we referenced in our opening words today, the place where truth, challenge, and love come together. Our minister called a congregational meeting together following the next Sunday's service. All were invited to attend. The facts were laid out before us just as I had laid them out for you. The meeting was then opened up for discussion. It was long. It was lively, it was contentious, it was exhausting, but eventually we reached a decision to purchase Walmart gift cards for the refugees we were supporting. Maybe I'm making too much of it, but I think it was kind of a spiritual experience. We had a collective epiphany. We had to consider Walmart from both sides now. To me, the real gift in this story was the willingness of the African refugees to speak up and say what they really wanted and needed. They had the courage to say, this is who we are. These are our values. These are our practices. They had the openness to have a direct and difficult conversation with us. I've served on our committee on shared ministry here for many years, as a board liaison, as a committee member, as the committee chair, and as the board liaison again. As a consequence, I've been able to listen to generous insights from many different Unitarian ministers. They've all told me in one way or another that one of the greatest challenges they see for Unitarians across Canada is to learn how to have difficult conversations with one another. Conversations that make us uneasy. Conversations that challenge our assumptions. We have Unitarian Universalist principles that are the basis of our faith community. As Canadian Unitarians, we have stated our aspiration to be radically inclusive. And as Nanaimo Unitarians, we are in the process of renewing our status as a welcoming congregation. We can ask ourselves what it really means to be radically inclusive and what it means to be welcoming, not in theory, but in practice. Being inclusive and welcoming to me means we create an environment where we can each speak our truth and be appreciated for it, where we can each speak our truth and not be judged negatively for it. Our personal truths might be very different. Our personal truth might be that we shop at Walmart. Our personal truth might be that we are non-binary. Our personal truth might be that we are anti-vax. Our personal truth might be that we do or don't believe in God. Our personal truth might be that we do or don't believe in climate change. Those might be very difficult discussions to have, but they will never happen, and we will never move forward until each of us can do two things: speak our own truth and listen to other people's truth. That would be a very good gift indeed. Blessed be, may it be so. Leah will now lead us in singing a song by the great Canadian songwriter, Joni Mitchell.
Thank you, Debbie. Please rise in body or in spirit, and we'll sing together. Rows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feathered canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds' illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way you feel as every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way, but now it's just another show. You leave them laughing when you go, and if you care, don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds, I've looked at life that way. But now old friends, they're acting strange. They shake their heads, they say I've changed. Well, something's lost, but something's gained in living every day. I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all. It's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all.
Now that people are attending services both in the hall and online, we have updated how we accept donations and pledges to support the fellowship. If you're in the hall, Brenda Stewart and Charlotte Joyner will now pass the baskets for the collection. If this is your first time with us, your presence is your contribution. Those online can go to our website and click the big blue donate button on the homepage and follow the instructions to donate via e-transfer or check. To help the wider community, 50% of all anonymous donations received are donated to the designated charity of the month. Our charity this month is Volunteer Nanaimo, which has been delivering services for the benefit of the community since 1979. Volunteer Nanaimo plays a key role in the development of volunteerism in the Nanaimo area. With more than 800 nonprofit and community-based member organizations, it connects thousands of people with volunteer opportunities in the community. If you are donating online or by check and want your donation to go to Volunteer Nanaimo, you will need to make a note of that on the e-transfer or check. We are grateful for your offering.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Thank you for being here this morning and for bringing your true self in all its forms to our community. Thank you to everyone who helped make this service possible today. Kelly Roberts, Ruth Anderson, Jane Nares, and Howard Rose on the AV team. And Tony, yes, he's not, yes, he did some of the work. Tony Turner as well, thank you. Catherine Walker from the Sunday Services team, our Advent wreath provider, Dorothy Mandy, and service leader, Catherine Jane Hazel, as well as our amazing musical director, Leah Hokinson. I'd like to leave you with these words from English theologian John Wesley. John Wesley lived in the 1700s and was a founder of the Methodist movement. He famously asked this question: though we cannot think alike, may we not love alike? I'd like to read that again. Though we cannot think alike, may we not love alike? Words for us to embrace in this fellowship, in our lives, and at Christmas dinner with our relatives. Go in peace.
And now it's time to extinguish the chalice.
Extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community,
or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. We're almost at the end of our service. After we sing Carry the Flame, you can join a social group, both online and in person. Breakout rooms will be available online for 30 minutes. We will have snacks and social time in the hall after the service. We'll now sing our final song, Carry the Flame. The words are on both the back and the side walls. Please stand as you are able and hold hands or touch elbows as you feel comfortable.